up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough.
What's going on, guys? My name is Mike. I'm here with Rusty, Mike, and Melissa. And this is another episode of Ammo Cans and Crayons. Today we got a couple of recent topics that we're going to go over. There's going to be some controversial news in this, but remember, keep an open mind. And here we go. Rusty, first one. Fire.
Local topic.
Local topic. Oh, okay, yes. So some of you may know, some of you may not know. This was back in 2019. 2019, there was a mass shooting that happened here. It was known as the Walmart shooting. And he's gone to court several times and stuff like that. And
been through several DA prosecutors.
Yeah.
Several. Mm-hmm.
The verdict, well, not really a verdict, but he ended up taking a plea deal of guilty on all counts. And I believe it was so that way he wouldn't face the death penalty.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he took a deal. He pled guilty. So he's not going to be facing the death penalty. He's just going to end up spending. Did they say what his sentence was going to be? He was just going to be in life
Forever.
without possibility of parole.
Without the
I think he
possibility.
had a life sentence for every person
I think he has 90. Federally, he has like over 90. There's like no way he's ever going to get out of jail. Like ever.
Oh, I wonder where they're going to put him. Are they going to put him in Texas?
No.
Or are they going to put him in Supermax up there in Colorado?
I don't know. It depends. Do we have a Supermax facility somewhere in Texas?
I don't think so. I know the big prisons over there in North Texas, like around Dallas area. I forget the name of it.
But
I don't know if it's in Waxahachie, Texas.
At what point does our justice system stop doing deals and go after these people and give them a punishment that's deserving? Because although he's never going to get out of jail, but technically somebody could pardon him. Something could happen, so you never know.
Somebody could pardon him, but for how heinous the crime was, I doubt anybody would pardon him.
I doubt it too, but at the same time, criminally insane, whatever you want to call it, and just really how much justice is that giving these families?
Yeah.
Well, apparently to the DA that they're the ones that made the decision to give him.
Exactly.
Give
So at
him
what point is our
life sentence.
justice system going to step up?
Well, it's because how long has this thing's been drawn out? How many DAs did it go through? So the families were like, they're fed up. They're just like,
Exactly.
we just want to move on, and that's
Why
it.
did it
so
take this
we're
long?
just gonna, just let him take the life sentence. Don't kill him because it's going to be a longer with the appeals and everything else. So it's just going to drag on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's also another case right now that's still in appeals, is the Woods case.
The guy in the Northeast.
The Northeast guy, the guy that killed all the girls in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been on death row for, 30, 40 years now?
Mm-hmm.
Statistically speaking, more people die on death row of other causes than actually dying of lethal injection or electrocution. And again, I think that is a sad state of our justice system. And yeah.
Well, Crucius or whatever his name is, it's going to have to be in solitary confinement because somebody's going to
get to him
Yes.
eventually.
Yeah.
I wish they put him next to in Supermax up there in Colorado. Put him next to what's his name?
Which one?
The cartel guy.
Chapo?
Yeah, Chapo. Yeah.
They can tie them out together.
That'd be hilarious. The dude went over there to off a bunch of Hispanics, but next to a cartel member. That's hilarious.
They should fight each other.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Put them both in the yard for their 1 hour at the same time.
Getting sunshine?
Yeah.
Vitamin D synthesis. There we go.
See, my thing is that for that heinous of a crime, because he planned it out. He drove all the way from Dallas all the way out here. You know, at Dallas is what, a
9-hour
9-hour
drive.
drive?
Yes.
Okay, he had 9 hours to change his mind, and he didn't. So that right there shows you, like, he was committed. He was going to do it regardless. I think
He passed several other Walmarts on the way here.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure he went through, all the other Texas towns.
They
that had
weren't
Walmarts.
border. They weren't border WalMarts though.
well, Laredo is closer to Dallas than El Paso is. Why didn't he go to Laredo and do it?
Maybe he failed geography class. I don't know. I don't know. You know, during the time that was happening, I mean, our city was on the forefront of immigration, which it's been for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's easy for somebody that maybe has mental deficiencies to go, oh, hey, El Paso is the biggest border town in Texas. You know, maybe he doesn't understand that Brownsville or Laredo or anything else is considered a border town too.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that him getting off on a life sentence without the possibility of parole was just letting him off way too easy.
He doesn't have to work. He gets fed.
He gets three
Three
hots and a cot.
Right. Yeah.
But, I mean, he destroyed people's lives with the actions that he did. And I think that causes for severe punishment. Just being, oh, well, you're going to just spend the rest of your life in prison. Like, that's, I think he got off super easy.
Absolutely.
I think he should have gone sent to El Salvador.
So 2 takeaways, if nothing else. I think we need a hell of a lot more reform on behavioral health, mental health issues, and I think we need our justice system reformed. Huge. I think we take too many appeals and too many deals. So
I think the reason why they offer a lot of deals is just because they don't want to drag out the court system for so long. They're just like, hey, we'll cut you a break if you plead guilty.
Well, it's
But it's
mostly
not
like
gonna be
the
easy.
DA, so they get reelected because they're like, oh, I have a 90% conviction rate.
Yeah.
And those deals are convictions, even if it's a lesser charge, ain't it?
Yeah.
If
So, I mean,
conviction's the
if
conviction,
they commit a
it's
murder
not
and
okay.
they put a deal in because you were jaywalking to commit the murder, then, it's still conviction.
He got hit with numerous felonies, but some of them were capital murder charges, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the state of Texas, if you shoot or kill more than 4 people or something like that,
It's a mass murder.
it's capital
3
murder,
more.
isn't it?
Well, it's capital based on the age of the victims
Oh, okay.
and during the commission of something too.
Mhm.
So
I thought it was like if you shoot and kill more than 4 people, it's considered capital murder. So there was a shooting that I was involved in, and it was in a nightclub here called Graham Central Station, and the guy got into a physical altercation with his baby mama's new boyfriend and got ejected from the club. Well, he went to his car, got a gun, tried to go back into the club, and the security that they had said, no, we can't let you back in. And he came back and he sat in his car for 2.5 hours. 2:00 hits, the club starts emptying out, and he gets out of his car, walks up and just opens fire, and he hits 11 people. And he was charged with, I think it was 3 counts of attempted capital murder. And he fled, and I think he got arrested in Albuquerque or Deming for his license plate light being out. And they pulled him over. They did a traffic stop. They already pulled his prints from the casings from the scene and everything like that. And they had a warrant out for him, and they picked him up. Dude served, I think it was 8 years, and then made parole. So, yeah. But I don't know. I just think that his actions and the crime that he committed, it derailed and ruined a lot of people's lives. and I think he got off super easy. But they were trying to get him for, what was it, mental incompetency or something like that. Like they were trying
Mentally incompetent.
yeah, they were
Yeah.
trying to say that he was mentally incompetent to face trial.
But that still doesn't take away from the fact that you have irrevocably like destroyed somebody's life. You know, even if you haven't killed somebody, just your actions change people's lives, like in ways that you can't ever recover from. Sometimes, most of the time, especially when it's violent crimes like that. You know, there are things that you can move forward, but those crimes are still there with you. Just because you're moving forward does not mean that you're okay. You know, you're not mended and healed. You're just moving forward.
Yeah. So I think he should face a firing squad.
There you go. I think so too.
Wish we had the electric chair back.
They just had a firing squad in South Carolina for a guy.
Yeah, we did that one on the previous
What
episode.
do we have here? We just have injection here?
We
Yeah.
just have lethal injection.
That
Yep.
sucks.
And that's a very peaceful, quick way to go.
I think they should bring back, what is it?
An eye for an eye is
chair?
what they should bring back.
No, it was back in like the mid 1800s when people were convicted of
The
a crime.
guillotine?
They would like hang them in the Times Square. What is that?
Yeah.
It's not public execution. It's something else. It's
It's a public hanging.
yeah,
Were you drawn and quartered or what?
something like that. But like they used to do it, and there's another name for it. I just can't remember what the name of it is. But
The one where they take the floor out from under you, like everybody stands
well,
there.
yeah, I
and
mean,
boom.
they did it with like the guillotine and hangings and stuff like that. But I guess like public executions, where, I mean, the state can make a lot of money on that. You know, sell tickets and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
go see it. I mean,
Or The Purge. I mean, there's some
It's a good movie.
there's-
No Escape. I think that would be an amazing. Buy a big island, ship the criminals there, let them feather each other.
I think that was tried once already, and I think they failed at that one.
What is the
They should just put them on Epstein's island. Just let them fend for themselves.
See
Right.
that? I mean, amazing.
But
Yeah.
then, it'd be like Big Brother. Have cameras everywhere.
isn't that kind of
Yeah.
like that Kurt Russell movie, Escape from New York? They just like
Yeah.
seal off an island and just drop all the heinous criminals there.
There is an island in New York that's not, I forget what it is, but it's empty.
3
Alcatraz.
Mile
No,
Island?
it's not. In
No, it's
New
not
York.
3 Mile Island.
Oh yeah.
Alcatraz is
To
empty.
deal with radiation poisoning.
Yes.
So
I forgot they used to put sick patients there.
Chernobyl, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, I can't remember if it's smallpox or tuberculosis, but they put a bunch of,
It is
people
3
there.
Mile Island.
no, it's not that island.
Oh.
3 Mile
Chernobyl?
Island. No.
No,
I can't remember.
Chernobyl's Russia.
We'll have
But
to look
there's,
at.
there's an island right off, I can't remember one of the airports.
And there's a huge, like, old.
There's a bunch of
hospital
old
building,
buildings. Yeah, that one. Have you seen it?
Yeah,
I heard about it.
I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember the name.
But have y'all seen the movie No Escape with Ray Liotta? I mean,
Yes.
seriously, like there's promise to that. If you get life in prison, just send them there. You don't have to worry about a pardon because you can't find them. They're on an island somewhere. Fend for themselves. Live off the grid. Go.
I think our prison system should be like El Salvador, so people think twice before going, doing stuff. Because
Yeah.
our prison system here is just
I mean, they have weights.
a hotel.
Like they have gyms. They have. I'm surprised if they don't have pools. Like in Alabama, we have Maxwell Air Force Base.
They have
like
massage therapy.
they have like
Sewing class.
a
That's just our
There's like a-
local.
a
That's
prison
just our local
on
jail.
the base with
Are
a
you
golf
serious?
course.
That's ours?
Yeah, I'm not kidding on that one.
Wow.
Like
Teach them a life skill or something,
Yeah.
Reform them, Have them guys work on your cars or something.
I think like something like that, like a program to rehabilitate them, is good, but that's for like,
lesser crimes.
yeah, lesser
You know-
crimes.
you-
Yeah.
but
something
you know
less
what,
serious.
they need instead of like sewing class or massage therapy or painting and everything else, teach them a livable skill. Teach them how to build roads, fix bridges, construction jobs. So when they get out,
Like
they
how
They
they
can break into a house.
how they don't
appropriately.
teach that in schools now.
Yeah.
they don't.
They don't teach a lot of that stuff in schools.
No, they took shop out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's robotics and computer science labs and everything.
How to high tech take
But
over the world.
since we have a shortage,
How to
or not
run
a shortage, but
TikTok.
we have a problem with our infrastructure as far as roads and electricity and everything else. Just teach them those skills so when they get out, they got a job and they can go in the middle of nowhere and do all that. Have a good paying job and do all that stuff.
Yeah.
Keep them busy. Keep their mind busy. Because they start sewing and they get out and be a seamstress and be like, yeah, but I murdered 2 people and stuff. Killed my
Death
family,
by
but
needle.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
now they can use their new skill to sew the body parts back together like Frankenstein.
Skin on the
Yeah,
back,
exactly.
like Buffalo Bill.
Exactly. It puts the lotion in the basket. So, next topic.
You know what? We started talking about the schools. Let's just jump into that school thing.
All right.
All right. So school vouchers, that's a thing, and Texas
No,
has
in
got to do it
Texas.
too. So they have a thing where you can you can get these vouchers in, I don't know if it's in all the states or if they're moving towards it, but especially in the rural areas, you can send your kids to private schools instead of to the public education. Now, public education, granted, a lot of it is they're failing the kids because we have kids that are graduating high school and unable to read, and that is not acceptable. You should not get out of elementary school without being able to read. There's a lot of controversy in it because of the fact that, truthfully, depending on how a private school is set up, you don't have to have went to school to become a teacher. You can walk in and just have been a librarian, or I guess that's a needed thing. You could have been a construction worker and then go in and be a math teacher, for a private school. So it depends on how it's set up. So there's a lot of good and bad with it. But the problem is what happens to our actual public education teachers when all these people are moving their kids over to these private schools? Mm-hmm. What is going to happen to our public education system then? Some of the vouchers will go directly to the schools. Others will go, there's talk about the money going directly to the families. Now, I will say this. About 10 years ago when my kids were little, I actually was a recipient of a voucher of this type. Where I lived in Alabama, if we were zoned for a failing school in the state, then we could use a voucher. The voucher would go directly to a private school, and I did use it, and I was very grateful for it because we were zoned for a really bad failing school. So there is some benefit to it, and yes, I did use it. Might make me a hypocrite, and if it does, it does. But so there's good and bad to it. But so what do y'all think? I mean, y'all are guys, athletes.
How do you fix that failing school though?
Exactly. If you're taking them out,
you can't just pull them out and say, okay, well you're failing. How are you going to fix that for the ones that stay behind?
Exactly. So
okay.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the neighborhood. It has to do with what type of neighborhood is it. Is there a lot of single-family homes with like 5 kids, or is English their second language? The culture and everything else, they can't pass, which brings down the scores from the school.
But it's also not just that, because look at the main school district here. Mm-hmm. They spent their money frivolously, and now they don't have it in the budget. They're letting teachers go left and right.
Who needs 2 stadiums?
But the government is the one that's going to be funding this and moving the money there. So if they're doing that, why can't they use that money to fix public education here instead of
the public school here, the main district here? They just spent.
We have 3.
But I mean, I'm talking about Socorro.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
the biggest one.
Yeah, the biggest one. They turned around and they spent like, what was it, like $35 million or something like that to build a new sports activity center?
I think it was more than that.
Was it more than that? I'm just ballparking, but I mean, they spent a ton of money
to build another
football field
next to the one they already had.
to the one that they already got. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't need to do that. They could
And
have.
that they wanted to close down the water park that's in that one too because they didn't have enough money to maintain it.
But yet
they're
they
gonna
turn
build up
around
another
and spend enough money to build a whole nother stadium.
Because where does money come from in schools? From the athletics department. So when you have a top leading, whether it's college or elementary, or high school, what have you, the money comes from the athletics department.
I thought it came up from these high ass taxes.
Yeah.
That too.
Their property
But it
taxes
comes
here.
from the
Yeah,
athletics
yeah,
department.
But-
And so that's why they put all their money into the stadiums and they let everything else fall behind.
So then it falls on the district's director.
Yes.
The superintendent that
the-
gets paid very, very,
Very
well.
well.
Yeah.
They
See,
pay for his house.
what
They pay
could
for his
have done,
car.
what they could have done was, instead of building a whole nother $40 million stadium, they could have used that money to update the teachers, get new textbooks, get teachers the supplies that they need, and everything else to put into the education of the children that
Absolutely.
attend that school.
Absolutely.
That's where my problem lies.
Exactly.
Is
You know-
you guys are spending your money on okay, so you build a new stadium for the sports. Okay, cool. Well, that just means that the kids that are in sports like football and stuff like that, okay, yeah, they're going to try harder, they're going to do better and stuff like that. They get scholarships. Okay. What about the kids that are really into art or music or singing
Or robotics.
or
computers.
robotics or computers
they reduced those.
Yes.
They cut the funding
threatened-
for that.
Yeah, they threatened to cut the funding for
'Cause
that.
when I went to school,
So
I mean,
you're
other stuff besides football was huge. Like band, with like 400, 400
Well-
students in the marching band. Now you go look at it, and it's like, 30, 50.
No.
Well,
My
I'm
daughter-
talking about here.
Yeah, no, my daughter was banned here in Color Guard. What about
Mm-hmm.
the parents who cannot afford to buy and pay the fees? Like
Oh, yeah.
senior year alone, I forked out almost $2,000 for my youngest in band in Color Guard. What about the parents that cannot afford it? Because even though they're still siphoning all this money there, they're still charging the parents. And where's all that going? And guess what? The parents still have to turn in the costumes and all this stuff at the end of the year. So why am I putting out all this money?
And the sets and all that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And having to do all that. So it makes no sense. And now the government is turning around and having to, and they're paying to go to a private school. And now our teachers are getting let go. And these are the teachers that are trained to teach our kids.
Yeah, see, and I think that is wrong
It's sad.
because now you're sitting here, you're just promoting football. You're just promoting sports,
and we
you're
don't
not-
even know who's teaching
Yeah.
our kids.
Exactly, but I know a few teachers, and one of them is leaving the main district and moving to another district because everything is falling apart.
Yep.
And she got teacher of the year this year, but yet she is being forced to move because they're going to start cutting programs and stuff like
Cutting pay
that.
and programs.
I know another teacher who is a choir teacher, and I think she has like 7. I think she either said 7 or 9 choir students. That's it.
Yeah.
So the school district is turning around and funneling the money where it doesn't necessarily need to be funneled.
And it's not going to give back to the city
Exactly.
and the people. It's
So-
just not.
Yeah. So I mean, it's
Well,
I
another
think-
thing too is that I don't know about that voucher thing, but you're going to have these other high schools going to these middle schools and recruiting players to be on their team.
Oh, that's been going on for years, though.
no.
Well,
It's been going on for
to,
years.
yeah, but it's now it's going to be like legal,
I don't know.
sort of.
So the voucher. So I'm a little lost. The voucher is just to move your kid from a public school to a private school.
It's
but-
basically school choice.
It's
School
yeah.
choice.
It's school
You don't
choice.
have to.
Okay.
So no zoning.
You don't have like I'm paying taxes for this area right here. Okay, so my money's going to that school. But if there's no kids going to that school, where's my money going? You know, because if
To a new stadium.
if these people are taking their kids because this one fails or it's got an 85 percentile or whatever, and they're taking their kids and putting them in IDEA or whatever the other El Paso Academy or whatever these
Top-notch little private school.
right little
or,
private schools, you know.
But those schools, you have to pay every month.
But these
But
vouchers
your
will
kid in there.
cover that.
These vouchers are covering that. They're,
Yes.
they're saying, okay,
So
well,
basically, you get to take. And the reason why I ask
can
is
take-
that I don't have kids, so I don't know exactly
I
how
can
this
take
works.
this money that I'm paying, and they're going to give it back to me, and I can use that money to go and put my kid somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Like he doesn't have to go to the school that's right behind my house.
I thought it was still going to the city or wherever it's already going, but now the voucher is just saying, oh, okay, well, we're going to let you put your kid
Wherever.
in IDEA's school or whatever, but you're still paying it to the city or whatever
Yeah.
through your taxes.
But
You're still paying through your taxes.
Yeah.
You're still doing that, but you're now, instead of paying, $500 a month for your kid to go to the private school or however much it is, the voucher is covering the private school.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
And the money that's going into the school in that zone or district is coming from people that don't have kids, and right.
Yeah.
Our
I mean, everybody
businesses
pays
and
property
everything.
taxes. You know,
And then
the old lady that lives
Yeah.
next to me, like 100 Jurassic, and she's still paying property taxes.
100 Jurassic.
Yeah.
And then what about the people who can't, I think we're going to run into a problem of public schools becoming more like the movie Lean on Me, more
They're like
poverty. More poverty stricken, ghetto, whatever you want to call it, because what about the people who can't afford to drive however far to take their kids to, the uppity school or whatever you want to call it. So then they have to take their kids there, and then all the teachers are run off. They're all going to another
Right.
district.
Your caliber of teachers is
your
not
caliber
gonna
is
be,
not going to be there, and then
they're
we're
going to go where
have-
the money's at.
Yeah,
Yeah, all those. I see all those private schools popping up left and right here, just like car washes.
yep.
And all the good teachers from the districts are going to start going in there, and they're going to have some
We're going to have problems.
problems. So, oh well, we'll see. And it's not this year; it's the next year. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
I still think that instead of doing the vouchers to move your kids to other places, they should just
fix the problem.
Fix the problem.
at the core.
yeah, get a different superintendent or this or that or whatever. But I mean, I think fixing instead of moving the problem, I think you should just try to fix the problem.
Find
But-
out how many kids would use the voucher, and then turn that voucher into that school and use it for that school.
Well, I
and
don't
those
think
programs.
boards should be picking superintendents. I think that needs to go to the voters.
Yes.
If you're
Very
not
good
doing your
point.
job and your school's failing and stuff like that, you're out.
Well, we
You know?
vote. We
Choose
vote
a
for
new
the board.
infrastructure.
We vote for the board members.
How many people go to local
Exactly. How many people
This
vote?
guy.
elections?
This guy.
I do.
I don't have kids, so I don't
Like
go to that
I
stuff.
keep telling
That's
people,
no excuse, Mike.
80% of your life is run by the people that are downtown or in your county. But too many people worry about the 20% in Washington, 10% in Washington and 10% in the state. They never worry about what's going on in the community. They can be just pillaging our city funds and everything else and stupid projects, but this administration, Biden's bad, Trump's bad, and all this other stuff. Screw Elon and everything else. And instead of worrying about their local races, no one goes to vote for that.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Speaking of voting, okay. This is close to home. This is out of Las Cruces. What about the judge the former judge, a voted official, caught housing immigrants?
It was just
gang
one,
members.
right? It was just one, right? One in particular. Did he have
There were-
many?
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
only saw a picture of that one dude with the gun, and then he had like that family photo.
Yeah.
But who knows, man? Maybe the judge and his wife had some kink going on.
Maybe he thought he had reformed them. I'm
Yeah,
just
but-
kidding.
I mean,
But there's
granted,
another.
he's a former judge. I mean, he can do whatever he wants after I'm thankful he's not in office like that one in Wisconsin or whatever. But
Technically,
still.
if you take an oath, I think it's a lifetime. I think even afterwards, the oath doesn't break. So,
True.
yeah, so that
Yeah, but
still wouldn't.
if you're working a government job and you get kicked out, I mean, you have no more government job. You're not.
But that's different. He didn't get kicked out. He stepped aside. So the oath still applies.
Did he step down, get fired, or
I don't know. It
retired?
just
But
says
either way,
former,
yeah.
former?
But there's also that other judge. I think that was the one in Wisconsin. It was a female judge.
Yeah.
And she was like tipping off people to ICE raids and stuff. She was interfering with ICE and stuff like that. And I was just like,
Well, I think it was some guy that was a part of gang. He was there for domestic violence or something like that, and I showed up to take him in, and she found out and put that guy through a back entrance that only like clerks and her and other police officers and maybe some high risk defendants and stuff to hide from ICE officials so he won't get deported.
yeah, but that's called interfering.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now-
so that's what she was doing.
And backing up to the former judge. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, though, him having been found with the gang members and things like that, I believe that actually can open up doubt and open up a lot of his cases that have any kind of ties to the people and associates and things like that to any of his former cases going back. So that actually, in all seriousness, is like a really bad thing.
Yeah.
Because that poses
His decisions
could he
that he
be
made.
compromised?
Right.
Could any of his former cases be compromised? And at which point that could be overturned. So that's a lot. And that's one of the reasons that judges, when they take that oath does not go, that oath is never broken, like when that goes down.
It doesn't
Right.
have an expiration date.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no expiration date for that because that's lifelong. Even if you've been retired for 20 years, if you are all of a sudden found with whoever who has a very lengthy rap sheet, if that can be in any way, if an attorney can turn around and say, hey, look, now if you cast doubt
Right.
on 20 cases, imagine the people that can go free. That's not okay.
Yeah.
That's true.
And then back to our justice system who loves to make deals.
Mm.
We'll see about this, our DOJ now.
Yeah.
'Cause they're-
See what
they're
unfolds
kicking in
on
doors
this
now.
one.
Yeah.
They're kicking
I
in
thought-
doors and arresting people.
I saw that on Facebook that one female judge that was interfering and stuff like that, and she's going to be facing charges for that. So I thought that was pretty
Good.
interesting. Yeah,
I'm tired of people doing the social justice, and getting away with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there shouldn't be social justice. There's just one justice system in this country, and if you don't let that one work, and you let other justices work,
Then
if
you
they're going to have social justice, I'm going to have, what's
then
that
you
other-
start getting people running around in hockey pads and stuff.
Yeah, we're going to have, chaos, basically. I mean, look at all these people that are on the left destroying Tesla when they were praising them for being green.
Tesla's got it all on their own. They're falling apart over there.
Literally.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like,
Literally falling apart. Yeah. So,
Speaking of,
yeah, speaking of, yeah, like rolling dump trucks,
the rolling dumpster fires that are falling apart.
you're supposed to contain a fire, right? You're supposed to contain it. Well,
Right.
that dumpster fire is no longer contained because, it's falling off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. In the rush to put these things out, to make his space money or whatever, just horrible.
Well, that's why Elon's, stepping back from Doge and going back to work to Tesla again because
He's got a bunch of problems he's got to fix.
Yeah, the person he left in charge ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So,
I mean, have they not heard of Gorilla Glue? I think that would have made better,
good commercial.
It makes me think of that scene from Matilda we're usually supposed to weld these bumpers on, and you're just spackling glue
yeah.
and then sticks it to the front. But
That was an old 80s movie.
Desperate Times. Desperate
What was that old
Measures.
80s movie with the guy that plays Beetlejuice?
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. It was about the 80s movies where they had the Japanese company come in and build cars.
Oh yeah,
You remember that one?
I remember that one.
And he was like made director, but they kind of set him up so that the place would fail. And when those Japanese cars were coming off the assembly lines, they just fall apart
Yeah.
because they weren't they think the American workers were not as good as the Japanese workers making cars over there.
Yeah, they were more articulate, more knowledgeable.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. You guys should watch that. I can't remember what it's called.
And we can put it in the description on the bottom.
Yeah. So, Mike,
So,
put it
but
right
I
here. Okay, that's the movie you guys need to watch. It's pretty old school.
I said it before, and I said it, and I'll say it again. The idea of Tesla is a good idea, but I just don't think it's there yet.
Well, we don't have the electrical infrastructure for
Yeah.
electric vehicles, period. Plus, there's so much destruction to the planet just getting the materials for the battery.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the political crap that we're going now because, all the tariffs going around. China owns a lot of the rare earth minerals that we need to make batteries, but they own all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not, and they told people don't sell to the
But
United States
not o-
because of this tariff stuff. So what are we going to do making batteries? if
But
that
not
happens
only
again?
that, but in our area, do we have solar farms?
Yes.
Not
Yeah, we
like
do.
what we need.
Not
Not
not the
not
size
Well,
that we need.
No.
Okay.
Well, we
Uh,
should. We're the Sun City.
100 acres is not a solar farm.
And the
Does
wind
it make?
farms. Well, and then
solar
we have
panels
wind
on a
here, too.
farm will make it a solar farm.
Yeah, but 100 acres is not going to be enough solar panels to charge. How many people live here? I mean, 1.8 million.
700.
800,000.
But that is our
No,
problem
really?
as a culture. We are an instant gratification culture. So one thing I think about the movie Avatar, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but the producer of Avatar, he actually had that movie made up and knew what he wanted to do with it for like 10 or 15 years before he ever produced it. But we did not have the technology to do it the way he wanted. And so that's why it was 10 or 15 years in the making, but he knew to wait until that technology was there.
Yeah.
We don't
and that's
have
what
that.
that's the point I'm trying to make is that electric vehicles, okay, it's a good idea,
But we have to have
but
the
you have
means.
to have the infrastructure in place to be able to charge 700,000 electric vehicles.
And then
We don't have that here.
And then think about this too. You're relinquishing control of that vehicle to somebody that can shut them all off.
True.
Yeah.
Because you have to update them. You have to attach them to Wi-Fi. You have to do all that other stuff.
Eagle Eye, that's another good movie.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody wanted to just control the masses, there you go, Norman.
And what's to
No.
say? What's to say in 10 years you don't have to start paying a subscription to your Tesla vehicle?
To drive.
I think
yeah.
you do.
You do it for certain features like the drive,
The
the
self-driving.
self-driving, the
Yeah.
self-parking,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, but to be able to just drive it
exactly.
by yourself.
And
what's
for the
to say
I think for
that's
the
not going to happen.
special features like the sounds and lights and all that stuff, you gotta pay for that stuff.
Yeah. So who's to say that in 10, 15 years,
Just to drive it alone.
just to drive it, from point A to point B, you don't need a monthly subscription like XM Radio.
Well, and
you
then your phone's your key. Like, people lose their phones all the time. People get their phones stolen.
Yeah.
It does make it a little more difficult to steal your car, though, because people have to steal your phone to steal your car.
Yeah, but phones are a lot easier to pickpocket than you think. So,
Well,
Yeah, but people know within 5 minutes if their phone's gone
we,
in today's
we
day.
get a
nowadays.
lot of calls saying, "Hey, I've tracked my phone down. You know,
Yeah.
I lost it at Walmart. It's over here at this house."
Yeah.
So
Do you guys go over there?
That's the reason why I got a
sometimes
smartwatch.
when we have a chance.
That's the reason why I got a smartwatch is so that way when I lose my phone, I can just find it from my watch and that's it. I don't even use my watch to tell me what time it is. I just use it to find my phone because I'll put my phone down in the shop and I'll walk off to go do something, and then I'll be like, "Damn it, I need a calculator. Where the hell's my phone?" And I gotta walk all the way across the shop, or I left it up on top of a piece of machinery or something. So I just use my watch to find my phone. I've left it up on the roof of the processing plant before. Yeah. So
Okay.
only reason why I got a smartwatch is that way I can find my phone. So
We can also go back to the educational part now.
Right.
You know?
You know, we can make sure that somebody has an abacus, you know, so you can
well, when
scientific calculators, TI-85s. Remember those?
I've got like 5 of them at my house if you need one.
when you're dealing with 100,000ths of an inch, you kind of it's easier to just use a calculator.
Man, pecan farming is a science, man.
science.
You know what?
Down
You-
to the caliber.
You laugh, but
I'll bring 2 calculators next time.
you
okay?
laugh, but when you build elevators to move pecans from one machine to another,
Chuck them with a shovel.
size
they-
matters.
How did they
Giggity.
do it 100 years
You guys
ago?
need to employ some squirrels. They know how to move nuts.
Right?
I can go to Home Depot right now. No, I'm just kidding.
So,
That's probably frowned upon.
Well, nowadays it is.
yeah, no, yeah.
Hey,
you get in
what
a
if-
lot of trouble now.
You know, a black Chevy Tahoe now. Going at the Home Depot if you want to see people start running, like turning on the light in the kitchen, you see roaches.
You know what? I just have to take a layer of white paint off of mine, and it still has the Border Patrol markings on it.
Wow.
See, remember I posted in the group that we needed to get that
We need to
Booty
get
patrol
Tom's truck. We need to get Tom's truck and put the blue stripe on it.
The INS one?
Yeah, the custom, whatever.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And he would fit the bill, too. They'd be like, oh, no. That guy's going for me.
Yeah.
Right. So
Or just show up in a car like a Charger or an American car with a bunch of hoodies on now. You know, the green hoodies. They would be like scattering.
Oh my God.
I don't see them outside of Home Depot as much. Not the one near my mom's house.
That'd be a good prank to like go roll around the mall and stuff like that. The windows down, you have the glasses on, the hoodie on.
They don't go to the mall.
Yeah,
Mall-
but
the mall's just a babysitter. That's all it is.
the people don't know that,
You know, I haven't been to the mall in
right?
8 years.
You're missing out, dude.
Am I?
Yeah.
You need to go to
I
the
feel
Apple
like
store.
I feel like if I go to the mall now, I'm gonna be like those old people that just go to walk.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
How
I
many
think it-
laps are a mile?
I
you
think
know?
in the mall, most
It's on the
people-
wall.
Yeah,
There's tiles on the wall. It tells you.
We can tell who the oldest in the group
on the
is.
floor.
Next topic. Let's go to the one that's no longer older. What about the Pope death?
oh yeah. Yeah, it took me like 2 days to realize that that's what all the posts were about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw him and I was just like, okay, it's the Pope, you know.
That was kind of such, but you know, all the news was reporting that he was healthy and recovering from, you know, being sick and having pneumonia. It was a double
Technically,
pneumonia and
he
everything
is
else.
now
So
healthy.
that's true.
Well, you can't get any worse.
But I mean, he did do Easter services and stuff, and then that night,
What do you consider Easter services?
well, I mean, they did weld him out.
Oh,
From the
they
Easter
wheeled him out.
You know?
So he attended
attended.
a mass, but he didn't.
He waved and signed a cross. I mean, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you're the Pope, I mean, if you want to run your sermons that way, I guess.
that's true. That's true. Now there's a huge process to pick a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes like weeks, doesn't it?
Yes.
And it takes like
Weeks.
almost a month for them to
They
to pick
all
one.
like go into the.
I think they got a certain amount of
hibernation
days.
caves
I
and
think-
do their
Yeah,
thing.
Sistine Chapel and
I thought it was like 2 weeks. They got 2 weeks to figure out who the next pope is.
No.
It's till it's a unanimous
Yes.
decision.
And then don't they have like a smoke billow thing
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
comes out?
once they
that
They
once
do,
they pick
yeah.
a new pope, and
yeah.
like once the pope passes, they burn like a certain color of smoke, and then
It's white smoke.
yeah, and then when they select a new pope after it's a unanimous decision, then they burn a different color of smoke for it. So, if my memory serves me
Yeah, I
correct,
think
but I'm
so.
not sure.
Smoke watch.
Yeah,
No, it's when they go in and vote, they burn black black smoke if there wasn't a known, like it wasn't a.
Yeah, if it wasn't a unanimous decision, all their votes are burned.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's nothing that says
But
Okay.
if they did pick if it was unanimous, then they would burn white smoke, and it would come out, and everybody would be like, yeah, they selected a new pope, and now we just got to find out which one it was when
Yes.
they come out.
Mhm.
When
And
they
then-
come out from the doors and everything
Mhm.
else, there's a new pope, and they would have to take over whatever name they want to take.
yeah, they choose
Their name.
their
Usually they go after what, saints?
yeah.
Mhm.
Like
Does
canonized.
anybody know the reason why you can't keep your own name
For what?
for popes? Like, why do you have to
I
have a
don't know.
different
I think
name?
I think maybe it's tradition. Like they can choose their own, some saint or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah,
I think somebody that has to be already canonized,
canonized. Mhm.
by the church.
Mm.
But isn't there like this is supposed to be the last one, or was
There's-
Saint Francis the last one?
Conspiracy theories say that
This'll
this
be
is
it.
the last pope before something major happens, like the
Then I hope he's
apocalypse. or-
really
Yeah, but-
young.
right? Like, can we get like a 40-year-old in there? You
I'm
know,
thinking
so-
more in the
Right.
20s, man. Like,
Yeah, I
just,
don't
like,
think
get him
that'll
on down
never
there.
happen.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
man.
The
Um,
chosen one.
But didn't what's the guy that
Graduated high school at 10.
Right?
You know.
what's that guy that predicted all that stuff back in the day?
Nostradamus.
Nostradamus, didn't he predict the last pope would be elderly or?
Did you know Nostradamus actually predicted his own death too? Like he went to bed, was like, I'm gonna die tonight, y'all. Peace out.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. He woke up dead. Well, he didn't wake up, but unalive.
How
But
can
he
you go to
just-
bed alive but wake up dead?
Right? Yeah. Like,
If a mouse goes into a house,
but if a bear, yeah. But no, I mean he was
That's
able to
weird.
tell his family good night. But yeah.
but no, hopefully, they pick one.
I hope not. There's a lot of stuff
Worthy
going on
and
in the
young.
world right now.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of people cling to religion through hard
Yeah.
times like this. So I mean, if you don't have that spiritual figure there, you could
The-
stray
the
from your ways and
Spiritual
stuff.
diplomacy of everything.
Mm-hmm. So I mean,
And how we've always been in spiritual warfare, and it's always one doomsday after another, and apocalypse after another.
wasn't the world supposed to end
On my birthday.
2012 or something
yeah,
like that?
on my birthday.
Yeah, and it's 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So
But now they're saying they were using the wrong calendar because they were the 2020
The
the
Mayan
2012
calendar.
they were using the
Mayan.
the Gregorian calendar with
Mm.
the Mayan calendar, and now they said there's a couple
Yeah, because
There's
we're
years
missing
missing.
we're missing an entire
Couple
month.
or years or something like that because the Gregorian calendar put in what's that in April every 4 years. They had the extra day.
You mean February
Leap
leap
year?
year?
Leap
Yeah,
year?
leap year
Yeah,
because the Gregorian calendar has the leap year,
yeah.
something like that. So
So
The
they were
Mayan
using
calendar-
that calendar, but they were wrong because of the leap year? Is
Something
what
like
you're saying?
that.
So if they were wrong on that, I mean,
Mhm.
come on. And well, never mind.
I just
But-
hope it's quick.
But the Mayan calendar really it was just they would start over again. It was just for agriculture reasons.
Like a farmer's almanac.
I was just gonna say that. You mean like a farmer's almanac?
Yep.
that was so there too.
You're like,
I got one in my truck.
got it before you guys. Yeah.
So
But since they were wiped out by the Spanish coming in with their either killing them or killing them with their diseases and stuff that most of that stuff got wiped out. So it's kind of hard to explain what that Mayan calendar was all about, you know. So
I mean, it
just a
makes sense.
guesstimation.
It makes sense because everything has just been going to hell lately, and yeah, it's just
Even things that's supposed to be going right are going to hell.
yeah.
But I mean, that was like back in the '60s. I mean, you had the Cuban Missile Crisis. Everybody thought we're going to go to war with Russia for years, the Cold War, and I mean, if you're looking at America's perspective, you know, we've gone through a lot of different, you know, look at 9/11.
In the 1900s alone, I know in one prophecy book by this one psychic, the world was supposed to have ended like 8 different times just in the 1900s.
I wonder if we're on like step 7,
Yeah,
and then
something.
maybe next step 8 is
We might have 9 lives. then.
Per this psychic, we're at least good until like 2500, I think. I don't know.
Well, Trump's number 47, so maybe he's the 7th seal.
who knows?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
He
hope
was-
it's
he
I
was-
just hope it's quick, like, you know, a
Yeah.
comet or something.
I don't want to know. Like, if it's a comet, just don't tell me. You know, we were talking about like in stuff like there are certain things, you know, the government keeps secret, and I think they should because mass hysteria would be a thing. Now,
Oh, yeah.
not for me. I want to know certain things, but like if there's a comet coming and we have like 3 weeks left, don't tell me. Just let me be wiped out by the comet. Like I'm good.
Let's
I
catch
want-
you by surprise.
Yeah,
I want my last words to be
Super Flash.
I want my last words to be me going outside and looking up and going, "Hey, is that a comet?"
right.
And then just
Well,
blank.
there's
Yeah.
speaking
And then
of that, there's an
dinosaurs.
asteroid heading our way
Stop
called
that because I heard about that.
it's called Apophis. They're supposed to swing by close between the Earth. It's so close, it's closer than the moon.
A reptilian told me about that. Yeah.
No, it's a real thing. So it's coming in 2030. But the thing is once it passes, what effects do the moon or the Earth have
Gravitational pull.
in adjusting its trajectory to where when it swings around again, that would actually hit Earth
So you're saying we got 5 years left?
to figure out what's going to happen with that.
I don't want to know what
With the
happens.
office.
I'm just saying I got 5 years left. All right, I'm gonna
hope
live
my
it out to the fullest.
Well, and I really think people are doing it. What about the whole like Katy Perry went to the moon or whatever that?
Oh, she's an astronaut now.
Yeah, like in the 5 women. Katy Perry, really? I mean, come on. She kissed a girl and I liked it, and like the whole pop star thing
What's
going to
that-
the moon.
What's
like,
that
what?
meme that
What were
I saw
they? The
Katy
blue
Perry step in a
team?
puddle and now she's a diver or something like that?
I was gonna ask if there was
Scuba diver.
kitchens in in space. You know, like
right.
I'm
I
like,
don't know.
I just
The effects of bread and zero gravity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
Well, it's like I don't know. It's like a bunch of rich women up there, and they were. I mean, technically, they did make it to space,
Yay.
but they didn't do re-entry or anything else because re-entry, all it is you're deorbiting. Orbit means you're going around, and when you do a re-entry, you're deorbiting because when you orbit, you're going so fast that you keep falling around the Earth without falling back.
Right.
And when you do a deorbit, you're actually slowing yourself down. So that you take in Earth's gravity to fall back to Earth using the gravity. They just shot them up straight and then they came back down. That's it, basically.
so like a carnival ride.
Yeah, but people don't understand
And a
that. They're
big
like,
dildo.
oh, well, you know, their spacecraft is different. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
how come they didn't have any burn marks or anything else? You know, it's
Right.
like they did technically make it to space. I
they
give 'em that.
experienced zero gravity for like 5 minutes and then came back.
5 minutes longer than you can if you took a NASA
But
plane.
it's just like, the Virgin Galactic. You know, they launch people in their little space vehicle, but they come back and then, you know, there's no charred marks and stuff. It's just they made it to a certain point in the atmosphere that's considered space.
But what point did that serve? All the money that was put into that, and
Now,
But now, well, that
Oprah's
money,
best friend went.
To me-
Katy Perry went.
but that
Absolutely
money that they
nothing.
spent,
Yeah.
no,
Exactly.
absolutely nothing.
no,
It
that
was-
money.
it was a-
hold on. That money that
Gimme.
people are using, the celebrities are paying to go on those carnival rides, are being used to put into his Blue Origin, which is the competitor to SpaceX, because he built that big Blue Origin rocket that he's going to put up satellites and everything else.
But I promise you,
from Florida,
the money that those women put into going up there did not even put a dent into the money that it cost to build that and send them up, and all the money put in to do that whole little flight.
The reason why they did that, it was all just a political stunt.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Caitlyn Jenner was there. I'm surprised she wasn't on it, but she was a spectator there. Is it Caitlyn Jenner? Jennifer Jenner? What is it?
Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah,
Caitlyn
that one.
Jenner.
I couldn't
And
figure
Oprah.
out which one was I was trying to look for the Adam's apple, but I wasn't sure. It looked like they both had it. One of the, I don't know.
Oprah was there too.
But did they actually pay that money though?
Yeah, supposedly they paid that money to go on there.
But I promise you, it did not touch the actual
It probably just covered the fuel cost to go up
Yeah.
and hang out for 10 minutes and then come back.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
For
Rusty,
either
we need
that paid for the development of that carnival ride to go up and down for celebrities or the people that are rich. I mean, you gotta look at Michael Strahan went on there.
Why don't you send some kids up and inspire them instead of people that have already done it?
Why can't these rich people sponsor a kid
Yeah.
or something that's won the spelling bee or the National Science Fair or something? Why don't they sponsor them to
I
go
won
up
a
into
spelling
space?
bee in 3rd grade.
I think I did too.
It was in
but
Alabama, so it might not count, but still.
Mine was in a Catholic private school, so
How do you spell A?
so
How do you spell A?
Rusty.
you spell anaphylaxis. Like, oh no,
Hey,
I think there's a
So-
pH in there.
So since Katy Perry went up and she's now an astronaut, can you get us right along so we can become cops?
I don't think it works that way.
And that's the way it worked with her
You don't, because you go to zero gravity,
for 10 minutes.
you're not considered an astronaut. So all
I
those
think-
all those people that are training to go actually to the space station, or
Now,
whatever.
I think you have to make a complete orbit of the Earth. Well, no, because our first people that we put up in space, they didn't actually do a full orbit. I think until like the later
because they
on in
were
the
still
Mercury.
testing the rockets to get past there, so
Mm-hmm.
it was a longer Blue Origin flight up into the stratosphere and then back down.
Mm.
Now, I do
They
know
might be
somebody.
pioneers, but
I do know somebody. She just got her doctorate in geology, and
she's a rock doctor.
yeah, she's like my brother. She goes out and she like looks at rocks and then licks them and stuff like that. Why they lick rocks, I don't know, but that's a geology thing apparently. But she's actually
Salt content.
Yeah.
probably, but she was actually scheduled to go to space, but I think it got pushed back because there's like a whole selection process and everything. And she got her application in, I think, like a day or two late.
So did Katy Perry.
But yet she has been wanting to go to space since she was like 8. And Katy Perry goes up, but she doesn't.
But she's not an astronaut.
Katy Perry or
Yeah.
yeah.
But I really think that you need to do an orbit around the Earth to be in space to be considered an astronaut. Not go
when
up
you
and down.
look out the window and it's no longer blue,
Mhm.
I think that considers you to be an
Well,
astronaut.
then that would be Katy Perry then.
That would be
No,
no, you
outer
looked
space.
out the
Yeah,
window.
it was
blue.
black. No, it
No.
was black.
When you have to pee in a diaper and like eat something that you don't know what it is, and then
have
you
to
can
eat
like,
when you have to eat a sandwich from a tube.
right?
I guess we're going to have
You
to look
know?
up the definition in the Webster's, what's an astronaut? What's considered an astronaut? But, I mean, if it's just someone that's been to space, then unfortunately,
We're in space. We are occupying a
There you
space
go.
right now.
There you go.
we're
So
just
I am
riding
a
the spaceship
land.
of Earth.
I am a land astronaut.
There you go. Land astronaut.
Okay,
That's
I am
the thing.
atoms and molecules. I am a land astronaut right now.
We need to get stickers made that look like the NASA logo and say I'm certified
We
land
need to-
astronaut.
right.
Let's contact Webster, see if that's not in the dictionary. It should be. A land
A
astronaut.
land
You know,
astronaut.
and then your friend could be like Dr. Rock astronaut or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr.
She is.
Rocklicker.
She is going up, and I think she was supposed to be going up in this shuttle or another
We
one
don't
coming
have
up.
shuttles anymore.
Well, this Blue Origin, whatever.
Carnival ride.
Well, no, because she's supposed to be going up.
The
I don't know
Carnival
if
ride
she's
or the
going.
Blue Origin?
Do they play
I don't
music
know.
on the way up, like carnival music, like?
I bet
They probably played Katy Perry.
Hold on. Katy Perry was the Carnival ride. I kissed the
Which
girl and I liked
which girl
it.
did she kiss on the way up?
Right.
There's a bunch of chicks in there, so who knows?
Which other flower
What-
did she have in her hand?
What's that? What's
Sorry, that was a little graphic. I apologize for that.
Yeah.
Apologize for that one.
so? Have you guys have seen the movie The Interview?
Yes.
What's the song that they play in the tank? And Kim Jong Un is like, "Oh, my wife must have put that in here or something like that. Something about a bag blowing in the wind or something."
Oh God, I don't know. But I know what you're talking about.
Music trivia really gets
Well,
me.
Yeah,
we'll
I
put
don't
it
know it
here.
either. Yeah, I don't know
We'll
it
put it
either.
in the background.
But here. I think it's over here.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll put it wherever I'm pointing now.
Be down in the descriptions.
But yeah. So there's that scene.
Like and subscribe.
Katy Perry's song. I peed in the diaper and I liked it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did
There
they
we
actually
go.
wear diapers?
Astronauts do, I think.
But she's not an astronaut.
Exactly.
Did she have the bubble helmet on?
No,
Did she have the suction suit on?
no.
And now-
No,
hold on.
and the
They were in fashion.
blue things were like super skin tight. Like astronauts do not wear sexy outfits, and those were totally sexy.
Yeah,
like,
they all had
no.
makeup on and their nails
Publicity
done.
stunt.
It's like an
hair did.
expensive slingshot to.
Yeah,
that's what
there
I'm
was
saying.
no diaper breeze
It's an
Now-
expensive
in there.
dildo into space.
Now,
I mean, that one stalker astronaut who drove across the country even wore a diaper going after her ex-boyfriend.
Oh yeah, I read about that one.
So that's a legit astronaut. She was too.
now,
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I read that.
okay. Now
And she
here's the
wore a
thing.
diaper.
Here's the thing.
It was a good
You
story.
know how a lot of people sit here and say that the moon landing was fake, it was staged, it was shot in Hollywood.
The
this,
first
that,
part
whatever.
was the first time. But
What if this whole Katy Perry thing was not real?
what do you
I've
mean?
heard that. Some people are saying that.
Some people are saying that they had panoramic windows on the capsule, and they say anybody who has ever flown something like this, they know that the windows are not able to withstand the
heat.
pressures or the heat or this or that or whatever.
Yeah, but
So
they didn't
some-
do
But then
re-entry.
for them going into space,
But they
yes.
didn't do
But they didn't-
re-entry.
They went up
And
and,
we
they
came back
came
down.
back down.
They didn't need all the high-tech stuff like the rockets they have. Because the rockets going up, they have small windows that are...
And they
'cause
have to break away and all that because of the atmosphere and the pressure.
Well,
and
that's what I'm
the-
saying.
Yeah.
when you go up and you get char marks or anything else, you have to make the vehicle withstand deorbiting. Stop falling from the Earth. I mean, falling around the Earth. You have to deorbit into the atmosphere, and that creates a lot of friction and fire and
Yeah,
everything else.
it's
But if you go up and then come back down, go up in space and then come back down, you're not really
So
re-entering.
were they in inner space or outer space?
They were in outer space.
I don't think so.
Technically, well,
There- I think
considered
there's-
outer space.
I think
think
there's
it was a hoax.
I think there's 5 stages of the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
You get like hemisphere, stratosphere,
there's a bunch of
omnisphere,
spheres.
whatever. Yeah, there's like 5 different ones,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're out of the gravitational pull of the Earth. So
That's an astronaut.
that's an astronaut.
That's
When-
like
when the
being
s-
a cop after
but-
the academy.
Exactly.
Instead of just doing a ride along.
Right.
Got
I think
it.
they
Right.
just put the application in to do a ride along, but never even
So,
made it to the ride
If I
along.
ride in the trunk,
Actually, it was a dare, but that's beside the point.
if I ride in the trunk in the cop car, am I still?
No, you would be a trunk monkey, and we employ those.
Or arrest them.
Or arrest them.
Like, how did you get back there?
Exactly. So,
There's no trunk space in the cars that we have.
No.
None.
They
Maybe
gotta
you
keep
could
the
put your
donuts
lunch in
somewhere.
there.
Not even for my stuff. There's not enough space.
They gotta keep the
you
donuts.
got to keep all your bags and stuff in there.
Passenger seat.
I gotta put a partner in there sometimes.
You can ride in the back.
Yeah. It's frowned upon.
It's frowned upon.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when they lock themselves in with the female.
Brake check.
California.
Mm-hmm.
That happens in California.
I think we've all seen the movie Super Troopers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but
That's
Rules to live by.
what's next? That it?
That's
I
it.
think that's it.
That's it. All right. Well,
Yeah.
any
Covered it
other?
all. We went to outer space on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went a little.
I am a land astronaut. I'm going
Land
to claim that right
Land astronaut.
We're gonna have to have some
absolutely.
stickers made and stuff like that that say certified land astronaut,
Yeah.
and then maybe have like a backwards or a funky looking NASA symbol or something that's not copyright infringement, but yeah. And then we could
I
put them
think
on the
Rusty
back.
owns that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
can do
my
it.
sister can make them.
We can do a guy on an astronaut on a flat Earth. Like surfing the flat Earth through space.
Rusty needs a helmet.
now. I do need a helmet.
Yeah, but like they're talking about an astronaut helmet, not a helmet.
No,
that you
I mean,
actually need.
yeah, no, not a drill cup helmet.
Okay.
Move the crayons closer.
I see him over there eyeing them.
Right? The red ones.
The red ones.
Those are a delicacy.
So I like the blue ones better. They taste like blueberries. So
Hey,
But-
if you're an astronaut and you wear a helmet, right, to space, that can you're considered an astronaut, right?
Yeah, but did they
But
wear
now-
helmets?
No, they wore
They-
weaves.
That's protection. That's protection in the South. You know?
So now, if you wear a weave and be an astronaut, she wants to laugh.
She does want to laugh.
all right. Well, that's it for this show. We appreciate you guys coming. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We got more episodes of, odd things and debates on whether or not you're an astronaut if you go to the inner space / outer space, whatever. So, yeah, until next time, I'm Mike, Rusty, Mike, and our guest, Melissa. We will see you next time.
We were built to thrive, yeah.